Music, movies, literature, politics, and show business. At one time or another, they all come to the Ron Sedgy Show. So why don't you?
I needed money 'cause I had none. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
You can try fighting the law all you want, but the law is always going to win. From politicians and celebrities to sports figures and business leaders, they're fighting the law. Now, here to sort out the nation's top legal news stories is America's favorite legal analyst, Royal Oakes. This is the Royal Oakes Show.
Robbing people with a 6-gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Thank you, Mike Horn, and welcome to the Royal Oakes Show, and welcome to our co-host Ken Jeffries. How you doing, Ken?
Good morning. No, it's good afternoon.
Who knows?
It's been a long week.
Good morning, afternoon, the evening. Isn't that what the Jim Carrey's line from...
Afternoon, good evening, and good night.
There you
Good night.
go. Yeah, that was a Truman Show. Fabulous movie. And our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes. How are you?
Hey, doing great.
Excellent. Another gigantic news week for us to talk about,
boy.
guys. I mean, first of all, the Russia soap opera continues. We learned a very interesting thing this week. The president said he can't obstruct justice. It's not legally possible for the president to obstruct justice. So
If the president does it, it's not illegal.
that's a relief. That's a pretty
Thank-
good Nixon,
Right?
You know, I always
Yeah.
thought so too.
I've been working on it.
Millennials usually don't know how to do Nixon very well.
Well, Nixon's severed head is an important character on Futurama. So
No, it's the Trump severed head with
Oh,
Kathy
okay,
Griffin. Yeah.
Kathy Griffin. Of course.
We're also going to talk about tax reform. I don't think tax reform is in the books a done deal yet. The Senate and Congress House have to get together.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling there are a couple of more senators who hate Donald Trump who might interfere. And, of course, Al Franken was huge in the news this week. We're going to get into that issue. And Kate Steinle, we may see federal charges. We still don't have a real explanation out of the jury in terms of why they found the guy not guilty of everything except the gun possession issue. So lots to talk about this week. Plus, I have to say, we still haven't come up with our dream guest. We were so sad with the passing of Jim Nabors because I know the three of us would have loved to have interviewed Jim to go through his incredible life, Gomer Pyle, the Andy Griffith Show. What a singing voice, stark contrast to that dopey talking voice. But it's no longer an option, guys. We let him slip through our fingers. So I just think it should be a project, don't you, Ken, to come up with some guests?
To try and get him to come back. That would be a project.
That would be a
some
major
ideas.
project, yes.
I got some ideas. They're percolating.
Okay.
They're in the oven.
How about if we bring back Roman Polanski to
Ooh,
the United States?
Yeah, I don't know.
Without
His
telling
lawyer,
anybody.
Harlan Braun, a big-time criminal defense lawyer in Los Angeles, has been fighting now for several years to get the court to drop the charges. And every time the DA and the judge, as it happens, they always say the same thing. But he has to come back first.
Right.
And then maybe we'll drop the charges.
Maybe.
But Roman doesn't want to do that. I mean, Braun's argument is that the system was unfair. They were cheating. They made a promise. They reneged on their promise. What's a guy to do other than get on a jet and go to Switzerland and stay for 4 years? So I don't think we're going to see him come back voluntarily.
I don't think we're going to see him come back now that 2017 has happened. If there was any year not to come back and try to
really.
get your
Good
clear your
point.
name, it wouldn't
you're
be
right.
this year.
This climate, because
Yeah.
what he did was allegedly rape a 13-year-old.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's our 2017's wheelhouse, basically.
Yeah, and even though
Horrifically.
the 13-year-old, who's now 53 or whatever, is saying, he's been punished enough. Can you imagine having to be in a chalet?
You know what's so bad about it?
Gstaad, Switzerland?
At this,
Brutal.
he couldn't even run for Congress. I know he's not a U.S. citizen, but he couldn't even run for Congress now.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Well, when we come back, we're going to get hip deep into the obstruction issue, and we're going to find out whether there's anything to Donald Trump's theory that, as a matter of law, he's incapable of obstructing justice. So we're going to sort that out when the Royal Oakes Show returns. Stay with us.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oakes Show. CRN listeners, when you come to Southern California, stop by a great restaurant, the Dresden Restaurant at 1760 North Vermont Avenue in Hollywood. Enjoy great entertainment, like the music of the legendary Marty and Elaine at the world-famous Dresden Restaurant. The Dresden was the location for the making of the movie Swingers. Now you can swing with stars Marty and Elaine. Plus, enjoy great food too, like French onion soup, artichoke hearts, and many other great appetizers. Seafood, there's salmon, shrimp scampi, New Zealand orange roughy, halibut, Lake Superior whitefish, and specialties like veal marsala, piccata, and parmigiana. Plus, we've got a great roast rack of lamb, chicken piccata, and cordon bleu, and pasta dishes too. Steaks, filet, New York, Chateaubriand for two. Much more too, including pork chops, prime rib of beef, and an incredibly extra large cut of prime rib. It's the Dresden Restaurant, open for lunch Monday through Saturday and dinner Monday through Sunday. Check us out at 1760 North Vermont Avenue or call 323-665-4294.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with some fantastic music to get us into this segment. You guys putting your thinking caps on? We have Ken Jeffries and Connor Oakes try to guess
building.
our bumper music.
I like
it's
that it's
building.
building.
Absolutely. Anything coming to you?
I don't know. Whatever it is, she's gone. Sorry. Oh, it's not. I'm not in love. Oh, 10cc. I'm sorry.
Very
There
good.
you go. Wow.
10cc.
Out of nowhere.
I had some when I walked in here. 10cc.
Well, Ken Jeffries used to be a professional disc
I'm
jockey,
sorry, I
as
didn't
opposed to
know.
an amateur disc jockey who probably does it.
I thought it was the
living
beginning of
room
Hall
for
and
his
Oates.
parents.
Hall and Oates. She's gone for a second.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can
obviously
see
it's
that.
not.
That one I know.
Yeah,
But this one,
This is a great
me.
one. Okay, so big week in the Russia investigation. We've got the question of whether or not Donald Trump stepped in it by sending out a tweet and saying, this guy Flynn, I fired him because he lied to Vice President Mike Pence, and he also lied to the FBI. That's why I fired him. And then people got their timelines out, and they realized, gosh, if you fired him because you knew he lied to the FBI, but the thing is, before you fired him, you tried to get Comey to lay off and not prosecute him. That sounds a lot like obstruction. And, of course, Dianne Feinstein, under great pressure from the left, is now super anti-Trump, and she's coming out on saying he's obstructing justice. You think, Ken Jeffries, that he admitted a crime there that Mueller can sink his teeth into?
Yeah, probably. But that's, it's...
Of course, everybody's saying Mueller's biased now, so
Yeah,
maybe
I know.
probably
Right. You know
gets
what?
downgraded a little.
Everybody's biased. We're all biased.
That's
We
true.
all have biases, and I say that as an unbiased journalist
Right.
myself. Right. But we all have biases, and so we'll have to see how it plays
Well,
out.
what you just said goes to the core of a really important issue. We've all got biases. Nobody is a robot. Everybody's registered one way or the other.
Yeah.
And yet, the Republicans are getting a lot of traction, beating up on this guy with the unpronounceable name, Peter Strzok, who has anti-Trump texts to
Yeah.
his girlfriend, and it's an affair. One of the two of them was married to somebody else.
Right.
And so people are saying, this guy, he's present at the creation. He's the guy that downgraded the statement by Comey from gross negligence by Hillary Clinton on the server to extremely careless. He's the guy that was responsible for the Russia interviews. And yet other people say, well, everybody has a bias. So what are we supposed to do? Hire robots? I mean, Connor, do you think it would be fair if somebody were investigating you and you had Donald Trump's political sensibilities if they had the biases of this guy, Peter Strzok?
There is no way to remove that bias. I absolutely.
How about a lobotomy?
I would. A veil of ignorance, a John Rawls style political veil of ignorance where we lose our personal identities. Guess what? We figured out a long time ago you can't vote without, you can't be a citizen without, you can't be a prosecutor without your identity. Everything that goes into who you are forms who you are and your opinions and your judgment. And as a result, it's impossible to find anyone who isn't biased in some way.
A couple of points. One of the distinctions the Republicans are trying to make in response to your argument is at least some of the 8 members of the Mueller legal team who have donated money to Obama or Hillary, at least a few of them actually represented Hillary Clinton's foundation and so on.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we at least have a situation where the prosecutors, the freaking DA type guys, don't have it in their background that they were officially the legal representative for the enemies of the person that maybe they're going to prosecute? I mean, to me, that doesn't seem real fair. The other point is, at some point, if a bias is so extreme, I don't think they can really be a fair umpire.
Yes,
you don't
that's
want a
certainly true.
guy
Yeah.
behind the plate calling, the
Wearing a
close
uniform,
slide
absolutely.
with a real strong bias in his head.
Absolutely. And that's why even the appearance of this sort of bias ought to lead to somebody like this guy who's texting his girlfriend. He should be removed, of course. And Mueller, I mean, not just for appearances, but for legitimate reasons, pulled the guy. So I am obviously on board with that. The question is, can you really replace him with any human and think that that human will be perfect? No, but you could do better than this guy.
Can we find lawyers that are not related, have not done work for Trump and or Hillary?
That
In this country or in any country?
Trump goes through them like tissue paper.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Find somebody who's maybe not as clean as the driven snow, but
Right.
close to it.
Yeah. And the other issue with the Trump campaign or the Trump investigation now is that this last week Mueller pulled the Manafort plea deal, right? Because Manafort, while under all this scrutiny, connected with and worked with a Russian on that op-ed, the New York
Right.
Times op-ed that they wanted to write. So these guys just have no shame at all. They just don't know when to call it quit. There could be nobody who's in more hot water than Manafort right now.
Yeah, oh,
Not even
absolutely.
Trump. And for him to talk to a Russian guy and say, "Hey, this sounds great. Why don't you and I get together and work on this op-ed to really tell our side of the story?" How do you think that's going to look, Manafort? What are you thinking?
Yeah. What about the Republican argument, though, that, okay, let's see, the Democrats say it was obstruction of justice for Trump to try to get Flynn off the hook. Oh, go easy on him. He's a good guy. He's a good Scrabble player and so on.
Yeah.
What about the flip side of that, and to say that some people seem to be working to let Hillary off the hook?
Sure.
That this guy Strzok, for example, to the extent he had a bias and he was downgrading the Comey statement from gross negligence to extreme carelessness, doesn't that amount to obstruction of justice as well? Shouldn't justice have proceeded in the natural way without interference? And if it meant Hillary gets indicted, well, then so be it.
Where was Comey's head in this, too? I mean, it's...
And actually, that's a Democrat argument. The Democrats are saying, okay, maybe this guy was a little off the charts. And in fact, they have to acknowledge that there was something going on in terms of an excessive bias with Strzok, because he got fired, or at least demoted to the Human Resources Department, which is a little ironic. So now he gets to decide who gets hired by the FBI.
Right.
But yeah, it's... the argument about where was Comey's head, you could say, well, even if Strzok was really biased, the buck stops with Comey. He's the guy that was responsible for making the decision, and he had to be comfortable with the language. Of course, Comey is still, to me, the biggest mystery of them all, because, I mean, for him to have made that decision not to prosecute her or not to recommend it was good for Hillary. For him to have gone public and had that weirdo public press conference to say she's bad, but not bad enough.
Not bad enough, yeah.
He was by the book writing the letter that then got leaked. And then once it was leaked, he felt it was his obligation to talk about it. And that is... I mean, a lot of people have criticized him for writing the letter, even though that was by the book. A lot of people have criticized him for the way he handled the letter or treated it, or who he gave it to, potentially gave it to people who had a huge vested interest in it being leaked for Trump's advantage, and he did.
Right.
And then it got leaked, and then he had an additional decision to go talk about it, all of which are mysterious edge cases. But at the same time, Comey himself is so far beyond, just like Mueller, beyond reproaching so many people's eyes before all this. I mean, this is an Obama era guy that, I mean, it's fascinating to me that Comey is seen as this sort of shadowy, shady figure when he was known as such a middle-of-the-road, fair-minded, balanced guy before all this stuff happened.
Yeah, John Oliver referred to this originally as stupid Watergate, if I recall. But now this is Watergate on steroids, man.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel.
Here,
Not even
to
Nixon
me,
would...
the most explosive question is whether Trump will fire Mueller. Karl Rove sees it as enough of a risk that Trump will, decide on an impulse to fire Mueller. He wrote a big op-ed in the Wall Street Journal this week saying, bad idea.
Really?
That suggests
Karl
to me
Rove was a bad idea?
that Karl Rove knows that Trump may be thinking about it, because Mueller is getting beaten up left and right. If he fires him, we are back in Watergate territory.
Yeah.
Hey, stay with us on the Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
You're experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain, pain from a sports injury. If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com. 310-873-4422.
When you're really looking forward to an outstanding holiday office party, you've got to contact Columbo's. Why? Well, if ever there were a time for good times, that time is now. 323-254-9138. 323-254-9138. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club. Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. Columbo's. Easy, delicious, affordable, great Italian specialties, mouth-watering steaks, the freshest fish, world-famous meatballs, and jazz every night. Big or not so big budget, it doesn't matter. Columbo's is LA's #1 people-pleasing destination. They do it right. It's friendly and festive, never fawning. Don't get left out. Call Columbo's now, 323-254-9138. Because when you're really looking forward to an outstanding holiday office party, you've got to contact Columbo's. Columbo's, Buon Natale, Mangia.
Enjoy Tiki Live, the best cable alternative choice today, with hundreds of premium live TV programming, including ESPN, CNN, Fox News, Disney, AMC, Bravo, XF, OWN, and CRN Talk. Plus no contracts and low month-to-month service. Tiki Live, servicing North America, including the Caribbean. To get started, visit TikiLive.com to order hundreds of channels, including CRN Talk, at a fraction of what you're paying today. Visit TikiLive.com. That's TikiLive.com.
Three friends, three unique perspectives. You're listening to On Air with Doug, Jen, and Victoria.
Sean Connery.
He could be 109. I'd still go out with him.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Where's Lewis?
He knows.
There's
something called a free pass. Yeah, it might be
I thought there's a hall pass? No hall passes in my life.
Maybe you need to renegotiate that agreement.
Doug, Jen, and Victoria, weekdays at 3 a.m. Pacific, 6 a.m. Eastern on CR.
Music, movies, literature, politics, and show business. At one time or another, they all come to the Ron Sedgy Show. So why don't you?
I needed money 'cause I had none. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
You can try fighting the law all you want, but the law is always going to win. From politicians and celebrities to sports figures and business leaders, they're fighting the law. Now, here to sort out the nation's top legal news stories is America's favorite legal analyst, Royal Oakes. This is the Royal Oakes Show.
Robbing people with a 6-gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Thank you, Mike Horn, and welcome to the Royal Oakes Show. And welcome to our co-host, Ken Jeffries. How you doing, Ken?
Good morning. No, it's good afternoon.
Yeah, who knows?
It's been a long week.
Good morning, afternoon, the evening. Isn't that what the Jim Carrey's line from...
Afternoon, good evening, and good night.
There you go. Yeah, that was a Truman Show. Fabulous movie. And our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes. How are you?
Hey, doing great.
Excellent. Another gigantic news week for us to talk about,
boy.
guys. I mean, first of all, the Russia soap opera continues. We learned a very interesting thing this week. The president said he can't obstruct justice. It's not legally possible for the president to obstruct justice. So
If the president does it, it's not illegal.
that's a relief. That's a pretty good Nixon,
Right?
You know, I
Yeah.
always thought so too.
I've been working on it.
Millennials usually don't know how to do Nixon very well.
Well, Nixon's severed head is an important character on Futurama. So
No, it's the Trump severed head with Kathy Griffin.
Kathy Griffin.
We're also going to talk about tax reform. I don't think tax reform is in the books a done deal yet. The Senate and Congress House have to get together.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling there are a couple of more senators who hate Donald Trump who might interfere. And of course, Al Franken was huge in the news this week. We're going to get into that issue. And Kate Steinle, we may see federal charges. We still don't have a real explanation out of the jury in terms of why they found the guy not guilty of everything except the gun possession issue. So lots to talk about this week. Plus, I have to say, we still haven't come up with our dream guest. We were so sad with the passing of Jim Nabors, because I know the three of us would have loved to have interviewed Jim to go through his incredible life, Gomer Pyle, the Andy Griffith Show. What a singing voice, stark contrast to that dopey talking voice. But it's no longer an option, guys. We let him slip through our fingers. So I just think it should be a project, don't you, Ken, to come up with some guests?
To try and get him to come back. That would be a project.
That would be a major project, yes.
I got some ideas. They're percolating.
Okay.
They're percolating. They're in the oven.
How about if we bring back Roman Polanski to the United States?
Yeah, I don't know.
His lawyer, Harlan Braun, a big-time criminal defense lawyer in Los Angeles, has been fighting now for several years to get the court to drop the charges. And every time the DA and the judge, as it happens, they always say the same thing. But he has to come back first.
Right.
And then maybe we'll drop the charges.
Maybe.
But Roman doesn't want to do that. I mean, Braun's argument is that the system was unfair. They were cheating. They made a promise. They reneged on their promise. What's a guy to do other than get on a jet and go to Switzerland and stay for 4 years? So I don't think we're going to see him come back voluntarily.
I don't think we're going to see him come back now that 2017 has happened. If there was any year not to come back and try to get your clear name, it wouldn't be this year.
This climate.
The argument holds water, and if the other justices get on board with him, if, say, he ends up writing the opinion. Neil Gorsuch asked a series of questions about the remedy, as he put it, because he said, well, the Colorado court said that in the case where the baker lost, his employees had to be instructed that they couldn't act in this discriminatory way. You, baker, go and tell your employees, don't deny gay people cakes, don't have anything to do with discrimination. And Neil Gorsuch said, isn't that an impingement of their free speech? Isn't that forcing them
of the employees'
to say,
free speech?
Of the owner, the baker, forcing the baker to inform his employees about how to run the business, to say, you have to tell them that your Christian beliefs are discriminatory. You have to tell them that what you believe about homosexuals is bad and wrong, and that is forcing him to speak a certain way.
Yeah, that could have some interesting implications.
And that, if you get rid of that, if you say that is unconstitutional to force him to tell his employees how to run that business, you throw a ton of civil rights legislation out the window, and you end up with all these laws that say you have to teach your employees the right way to do things and have HR training, seminars, all this. All that goes out the window.
So, Ken Jeffries, do you think Gorsuch's opinion will go out the window? Because, like with all the other decisions, it seems Anthony Kennedy, he's almost always the middle guy.
Yeah, it might. I don't know. And this is.
You got to convince him. He gets to make the rules.
He's written all of the big gay rights decisions in the last 20 years, from the discrimination issues to the recent same-sex marriage. It's all been Anthony Kennedy, and he's the guy who is probably going to make the decision in this one. Hey, when we come back into the next block, I think I want to extend our discussion, because I think we need to figure out about some of these hypotheticals the justices pose. So we'll talk a little more cake when we come back here on the Royal Oak Show. Stay with us.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Calling all party planners, it's not too late. Come to Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurante, because good dates are still available for your holiday celebration. Book a holiday party in one of our banquet rooms and receive $200 off the services of our fun and talented disc jockeys. This offer available for events taking place in the month of December on new bookings with banquet room policies subject to availability. Plus, come to our Sunday champagne brunch for just $21.95. Bring your group. It includes an extensive buffet, mimosas, omelets made to order, fresh Belgian waffles, a chocolate fondue station, or try our Holiday Express buffet for your business lunch, just $13.95. Relax in our holiday festivities. One size fits all. Get a gift certificate at Angelo's and Vinci's, named Best Italian Restaurant 2017 on the Orange County Hot List. festive and decorated for the season with our spectacular Christmas tree in the middle of the Italian town square. Feel the spirit at Angelo's and Vinci's in downtown Fullerton. Call 714-879-4022, 714-879-4022.
The legends of Ka'anapali Luau at the Ka'anapali Beach Hotel will take your breath away with an abundant feast, spellbinding dances, and music from Lei Pono Productions. Be greeted with a lei and browse to see island crafts made by local artisans. As you hear the pu or conch shell blow, your luau experience will begin. The featured entree is a whole roasted pig and a bountiful menu of some of Hawaii's favorite food choices. Oh, you can't forget our famous made in-house taro poi. As your night comes to an end under the spell of the moon, be amazed by the famous firewalk. By the end of the night, you'll be full, and we hope you'll have made new friends and some forever memories while you continue to listen to music from Maui's local Hawaiian musicians every Monday night at Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel. Ka'anapali Beach Hotel, voted Best Aloha Spirit by Hawaii Magazine readers. Call 667-0128 or visit legendsofka'anapali.com for your exciting island adventure.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
CRN listeners, take CRN with you on the road, on your smartphone. Yes, now you can enjoy CRN right on the convenience of your smartphone. Just dial this phone number, pound 250, that's pound 250. Don't text it, it's a phone call. Pound 250 and hit send. When they ask you for the keyword, say CRN Talk, and our app will be loaded automatically to your phone free of charge. Dial pound 250 and hit send, and then say CRN Talk, and get CRN on your smartphone today.
Trying to sell your old car? Instead, donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind. Pickup is free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats, whether they run or not. Call right now and receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call 1-800-785-9618. Donate your car today. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries, our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes, and our music experts always like to guess our bumper music. So, guys,
it's not a bad guess to go with "Where oh where did my baby go" or something. Whatever the chorus is, I'm gonna guess the chorus. Is that the title?
You know, I've totally forgotten. Perhaps our expert Ken Jeffries.
I think I know the title, but I can't remember the year. I think the song is called "Last Kiss."
Oh.
Yeah, "Last Kiss," exactly right. And Wayne
Cochran
Cochran did it, the white soul singer. He covered it, but this is the original. This is the one you hear.
Yeah, this is the classic.
Yeah, this is great. It's a sad story, you know. Spoiler.
Baby died in a car crash. It's like the Shangri-Las. Remember, leader of the pack. Oh no!
I hate songs with an unhappy ending.
Who did the song?
I don't remember the name. I bet Jose can get it up for us, and he'll give us the information later in the program. Oh, J. Frank Wilson, of course, a household name.
J. Frank Wilson.
Yeah, that wasn't he Dennis the Menace's neighbor, Mr. Wilson?
That's Mr. Wilson, yeah. But,
what is this guy, Miss Wilson?
J. Fred Muggs from the old Today Show chimpanzee.
That's true.
I don't trust people with 3 names. J. Frank Wilson sounds like a serial killer.
We've been talking about the wedding cake decision in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. Connor treated us to a really highfalutin intellectual explanation of something I know is really
boring.
smart.
Yes.
And I'm going to read the transcript of the show, and then I'll understand it. But let me get it down to my basic
brass
level.
tacks.
Satanist walks into a Methodist baker and says, Howdy, y'all. I'm from Alabama, and I'd like a wedding cake. It's same sex, and also we're Satanists. So I'd like you to put in frosting there. Satan is swell, y'all go to hell. Now, Mr. Methodist baker, would you please do that? And the Methodist says, are you kidding me? Get out of my bakery. Never darken my door again. Okay. I'm with the baker. Are you saying, Mr. Connor, that this Satanist, same-sex guy, we'll leave the same-sex part out of it.
Yeah, let's just stick with Satanist.
Just stick with Satanist. Should be allowed to force a baker
to
take
poke
the
fun.
frosting tube, whatever they call that thing, and write Satan is swell, y'all go to hell?
You know, it's easy to poke fun at a Satanist just because none of us in this room happen to be Jose. Not that I mean to speak for you, of course. Who knows?
I'm confident Jose isn't. Go right ahead.
But I'll tell you, Satanism is sort of got this bad rap as like this.
Is this like playing the Hitler card? Is it too far?
I mean, no.
Too soon.
In a way, yeah. I mean, if you want to say like freedom of religion, we want everybody to be able to practice their religion in our country and use public services and businesses that are open and held out to the public.
Right.
These are, important values in America, that everybody has access to the same stuff, and that means the same hotels and bakeries and florists and everything else. And in that situation, if you're legitimately a Satanist and not just somebody who's trying to get a rise out of a Baptist and not just somebody who's, trying to be contrarian, then yeah, I think if you do wedding cakes, I think you got to do wedding cakes for everybody.
I'm okay with forcing the guy to sell something, to not, kick him out of the... But to force you to take part in a creative process, an artistic process, maybe it's not that artistic creating a cake. What do you think, Ken?
Is it the same thing as a hotel owner denying access to a gay couple?
No, it's different. It's different
because there's a creative process involved in
there's
it.
a famous case called Heart of Dixie Motel where it was about race, where the Supreme Court decided it was interstate commerce for African Americans to be able to traverse the interstates and stay at a motel that said whites only. And we decided, everybody has access to that because we want to protect interstate commerce. And that was their sort of backdoor way of getting civil rights. And the same thing happens for gay rights. It followed the same path.
But you can't force somebody to create something.
Yeah, it's about, because they got to write the words "Satan is great" on the cake, and that's what feels bad. I mean, for me, if you're the Methodist or Baptist or whatever, and you do the...
Let's make him Presbyterian.
He's Presbyterian, okay. If you do officiant, if you're an officiant for weddings, and you say, I'll do kind of any flavor of Christian wedding.
Yeah, that's right. It could, yeah.
And then a Muslim comes to you and says, can you read from the Quran and do my wedding? And you say, that's just not what I do. I don't know the Quran. Maybe I don't like the Quran. Who knows?
I think a Methodist minister should be able to turn down a Satanist who wants to do him to officiate at the wedding, just as I think the Methodist baker should be able to say no to the Satanist who wants a
There
cake.
might be some rabbis that refuse to perform same-sex weddings.
Or what about a rabbi who's asked to...
Sure.
What if you're a Christian who's asked to perform a Jewish wedding, or vice versa?
Right.
It comes down to this sort of question of, well, that's just not really what I do. I do Christian weddings. And somebody might say, I do Christian wedding cakes. And that is a weird question. I don't know the answer to it in reality. I fall on the side of, you got to do it, but I'm also not the one who has to ice the cake.
What if they said, happy wedding, Adam and Stan, but we don't, but parentheses, put a disclaimer.
I don't,
an asterisk. Exactly.
Or
not necessarily our views, Bob's Baking Company.
Have a cupcake next to it with a dissent.
Yeah.
I'm going to predict that Anthony Kennedy will be the deciding vote. I think he's going to vote for the baker because these questions actually were along the lines of, Mr. Same-Sex Lawyer, you weren't very tolerant about the views of the baker. Let's switch, since we're on the Supreme Court, to the sports betting story. U.S. Supreme Court heard the arguments this week. Chris Christie sued the government, saying, hey, back in 1992, the federal government passed a law against sports betting because of this Pete Rose deal, the scandal and the taint. And now the U.S. Supreme Court is going to decide whether to toss that federal law out and allow states to legalize sports betting. 18 governors supported it. You think we're going to see sports betting?
Yes, and I think it should be legalized, and I think for once Chris Christie is right.
This might be the first time.
Did he get involved because Atlantic City was involved, and I wonder about that. That's what I think.
Jersey is also one of the very few, one of actually two states where online gambling is legal of various kinds. So Nevada and Jersey are the only places where you can play online poker, for example. And these states are sort of at the
Just
forefront.
do it
They're the
already.
bellwether.
Just do it and avoid the pretense of it being immoral. It's
Yeah.
stupid. Legalize it. Collect taxes on it if you have to. For gosh darn,
It's-
I know so many people who were involved in it. It's
I mean, there's the
ridiculous.
taint of immorality, but there's also the real issue of addiction. And there are a ton of gambling addicts out there who would suffer if it was legal and
They do it
easier.
anyway. What's the
You're
difference?
absolutely right. They totally do. The question is, should they
Yes.
just legalize it and protect people through regulation?
Yes.
And I'm on that side of it, absolutely.
And of course, Nevada got grandfathered in because back in '92, when the feds made sports betting illegal, they had already legalized it in 1949, and so they were the only ones. But
Vegas,
yeah,
baby.
I think most people are predicting that the sports betting is going to be approved. Of course, one question is, what about online gambling? Is that going to open the door to unlimited online gambling? 'Cause,
Maybe.
I mean, talk about addiction problems.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have a lot of folks spending a lot of time, like William Bennett, the former education secretary. He dropped $5 million at video poker. Video poker! Didn't even have to talk to people. Hey, when we come back, the E-Block. Harassment is going to be on the agenda. We're going to be talking about Franken on the Royal Oak Show.
On CRN with the Royal Oak Show. CRN listeners, when you come to Southern California, stop by a great restaurant, the Dresden Restaurant at 1760 North Vermont Avenue in Hollywood. Enjoy great entertainment, like the music of the legendary Marty and Elaine at the world-famous Dresden Restaurant. The Dresden was a location for the making of the movie Swingers. Now you can swing with stars Marty and Elaine. Plus, enjoy great food, too, like French onion soup, artichoke hearts, and many other great appetizers. Seafood, there's salmon, shrimp scampi, New Zealand orange roughy, halibut, Lake Superior whitefish, and specialties like veal, marsala, piccata, and parmigiana. Plus, we've got a great roast rack of lamb, chicken piccata, and cordon bleu, and pasta dishes, too. Steaks, filet, New York, Chateaubriand for two. Much more, too, including pork chops, prime rib of beef, and an incredibly extra large cut of prime rib. It's the Dresden Restaurant, open for lunch Monday through Saturday and dinner Monday through Sunday. Check us out at 1760 North Vermont Avenue or call 323-665-4294.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. 800-485-8803. Call right now. That's 800-485-8803.
You say that you love me, say you love me all of the time, all of the time. You say that you need me, say you need me. You'll always be mine, always be mine. I'm feeling
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show. And this is the Golden Oldie. Might be a little early in the century for our millennial correspondent, Connor
That's
Oaks,
the
but I
thing,
bet Ken Jeffries has a pretty good handle
These
on
are the
this one.
songs that were on my whole childhood.
Really?
I've heard these songs 80 times each.
Oh,
I just
okay.
never got the title.
Okay. I bet Ken Jeffries has a good guess here.
No, it's glad all over that you played it, okay?
See, he worked that into the sentence
Well
quite
done,
nicely.
well done. I like
and
Dave Clark-
shall
Dave
we?
Clark 5, DC
Dave
5.
Clark 5, exactly.
Dave Clark 5.
Were they known
Very-
as DC5? I didn't.
You know what? I think they were for a while, and then of course came the
know.
MC5, which was out of Detroit, but totally unrelated.
And you knew 10cc,
10
cubic
C-
centimeters.
You all these numbers, right? The MC5, the DC5,
98 degrees.
98 degree. Oh God! Oh really? No.
98.6 is normal.
98.6. I'm glad you were in sync with that. So it's
sorry.
Sorry.
Get into the boy bands. So we've arrived at the E-Block, and we're talking harassment, of course. Big story, probably the biggest story of the week. I guess a little sidebar. Apparently, Donald Trump is walking back the Billy Bush thing. He claims maybe that's not his voice on the recording after all, even though he kind of confessed and apologized during the campaign.
Years go by, and now he says, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
It It wasn't me.
Yeah,
The classic Shaggy defense.
It was a Rich Little that came back. They brought him in to imitate him or something.
You know, anybody else on the planet, there'd be a problem being perceived as untruthful.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think he is the Teflon guy when it comes to truth, and here's why: he is a super salesman, and everybody knows salesmen lie.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's in sales, so maybe everybody lies. But the fact is, the culture understands you exaggerate, you puff to the point of lying in order to be a successful salesman. So I don't think they hold it against him when he's caught in a lie.
Yeah, I think you're right too, and this is why he may survive all the sexual harassment allegations made against him.
Yeah, it could be. All right, so Roy Moore is facing the election next Tuesday. I think the polls have him up. One poll I saw 2 points up, another 6 points up. I think he's really benefited from the fact that everybody seems to be embroiled in this controversy.
Yeah.
But a little speed bump for him, for his opponents. Connor, as I understand it, maybe you have the details on this, there was this yearbook where a 16-year-old working at a diner or something, and Creepy Roy, a 32-year-old assistant district attorney, is in there, ordering liver and onions and making time with her, and he writes in her yearbook.
Right.
But apparently she then wrote something under his signature, and people are saying, aha, this is proof she forged it. She's trying to frame the guy. And what is it she wrote?
So Roy Moore writes, "To a sweeter, more beautiful girl, I could not say Merry Christmas."
Sweet-talking guy.
Sweet-talking guy. She's 16 years old. Yeah, he's in his 30s.
We'll do that next block.
Merry Christmas.
It'll be the next bumper music.
Christmas 1977.
Right.
Love, Roy Moore, DA. Got to squeeze that in there. He's the DA, by the way. Pretty fancy. Be impressed, 16-year-old.
Well, that libertine Jimmy Carter was president at that time, so he probably inspired Roy.
So underneath that are the words 12/22/77. So repeating the date, Old Hickory House, which is the name of the restaurant where the 16-year-old girl worked. And she now says to the handwriting expert who's going to analyze this, don't bother analyzing the part at the end there, 12/22/77, Old Hickory House, because I added that later. Now, she is not saying that she added the sweeter, more beautiful girl, love Roy Moore part. She says that he wrote
Here's
that.
my question.
She wrote this to herself to remind herself where and when and who it was who wrote and then signed it.
Does the handwriting that was used to write the part, she admits writing that, does that look like it was an attempt to mimic his handwriting?
Above.
I guess we don't know.
We don't know because we don't have an image of the yearbook. It hasn't been made public.
Right.
So it's
that's kind of an
mysterious.
important fact to me, because if it mimics it, I think it doesn't mean he's innocent because he's got 10 other accusers.
Right.
But as to this gal, I think that would really undermine her credibility.
It would, or it would look like she was maybe desperate to have physical proof and really good physical proof of what happened, and she really wanted to be believed. I mean, the first part, if the first part is not forged, then I think it's irrelevant that the rest might have been.
All right.
If it was all forged, then obviously credibility down the drain.
Let's talk Al Franken. Very dramatic speech he gave to the Senate. I was very impressed. I mean, he's a performer. He's an actor. He's been in front of the camera all of his life. And, a lot of people will probably start blubbering and breaking down. Al's a pro. He was not about to do that. He wasn't about to give that to his enemies. He got through that just fine.
Yeah.
But here's my question. Is it really fair for him to be drummed out of the core by his fellow Democrats in the Senate when their obvious motivation is, oh, my God, we got to get rid of Al, because if we don't get rid of Al, we can't go after Trump for his sexual abuse of a dozen women, and we can't go after Roy Moore? They threw him under the bus instead of letting him ride in the front of the bus, I think.
Well, but he also said, I plan to resign in a couple of weeks. He didn't say he's going to resign.
Well, do you think he may not resign?
I think he did say maybe he's going to resign, I guess, but he didn't say when.
Right.
He didn't say immediately.
In the next few weeks, he
said.
Like
this congressman who resigned the other day for, asking his aide to have a baby, right? Surrogacy and all that kind of stuff.
But do you really think that, for example, if they seat Roy Moore and the Republicans don't get him out, that Franken would actually stay and say, if you're not going to get rid of this, the pedophile, I'm staying?
It's possible.
I don't think so. I can't imagine it.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
That would be pretty dramatic.
Other than that, he goes on MSNBC as an
analyst.
I'd like to see that. You know what? We could have a cage fight between Roy Moore and Al Franken on the floor of the Senate.
I love it.
Maybe mud
a
wrestling.
Caning, maybe?
Vince McMahon.
Not a caning. That's been done in the
Old
19th
news.
century.
Old
Exactly
news.
right. Well, a huge week in the harassment story. Hey, when we come back, we're going to do our beloved feature moron of the month. And for the first time, guys, this is going to be a retro version. It's going to be a guy who was a moron years ago, but there's an update on his situation. Stay with us on the Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show.
Hey, Lorraine, do you realize that your mother, my mother-in-law, Chef Maria, has been serving Las Vegas since 1949?
Yes, I do, Dennis. That's when she first met Howard Hughes, who fell in love with her cooking.
And in 1955, she opened her first restaurant on Fremont Street.
Yes, dear. And another great customer was Liberace.
Wow. Then in 1962, while Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack were causing global excitement on the Las Vegas Strip, your family opened their second restaurant.
And in 1972, Elvis Presley began electrifying Las Vegas audiences and eating in our restaurants.
You know, Lorraine, this is quite a town. There's only one Las Vegas.
And there's only one Bootlegger Italian Bistro.
Folks, when you're in Las Vegas, come visit us. We'll make you feel like you're part of our family.
The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, conveniently located at 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard, South Strip. Visit our website at www.bootleggerlasvegas.com.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares, first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644, 800-915-2644.
Experience the romantic getaway you deserve at Maui's premier bed and breakfast, the Plantation Inn. With plantation-style architecture and decor combined with modern amenities such as dual rain showers and whirlpool hot tubs, guests relax in a tranquil oasis in the heart of Maui's historic Lahaina town. The inn is situated conveniently less than 2 blocks from Lahaina Harbor, as well as the famous Front Street, known for its range of shops, restaurants, gallery walks, and museums. The Plantation Inn is home to Gerard's Restaurant, voted Open Table's top most romantic restaurants in North America. Chef Gerard's contemporary island French cuisine consistently earns some of the highest ratings in Hawaii. Come discover why Hawaii Magazine readers named the Plantation Inn #1 best bed and breakfast in Hawaii. Visit theplantationinn.com or call us at 667-9225.
He wore starched white shirts, button at the neck, and he'd sit in the shade and watch the chickens peck. And his teeth were gone, but what the heck? I thought that he walked on water.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show. And gosh, you guys are probably going to have an unfair advantage guessing the music here. Connor Oakes, Ken Jeffries.
A classic.
Okay. So
country classic.
Who's the artist here? Huh?
This would be Randy Travis.
This would be Randy Travis. We know the
We're
name.
gone. Is that the story called the Alabama Voter?
Oh,
no, I don't think
No,
so.
okay.
So this is, I think it's,
Sorry.
He walked on water.
Walked on water.
What is that about? I don't know.
I think it's about his dad.
Oh, well, actually, it's his grandfather.
Oh, it's his grand. Sorry, Randy.
And his granddad is 90, and the granddad walked on water. Beautiful song, a beautiful voice.
Tear to my eye.
This guy, an amazing talent. Now, Jose, I'm going to alter the title of the segment, but we've got it all queued up and carded up. So go ahead and lay it on us.
Moron of the Month.
Okay, we're going to change it, guys.
bit.
Instead of
Pull
moron
it
of the
back.
month, we're
Pull
going to
it
say
back.
sad story of the month.
Sad story
Yeah,
of
we're
the
not going to
month.
call Randy a moron. So here's the deal.
He's been through
This
too
is
much.
our first retrospective,
Yeah.
retroactive sad story of the month. In 2012, Randy Travis had a little too much to drink. 0.21 blood alcohol, which I think is about almost 3 times the legal limit.
That sounds like
Legal
there's
limit is
more
0.08.
alcohol than blood at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know how the numbers work.
So he decides clothes are no fun. So he's naked, and he's at 0.21, and the cops arrest him. And the video is just now being released. So
just now,
his lawyer just now after 5 years,
and not on MTV, certainly not that kind of not a
No.
music video, I guess.
No, well, TMZ got it, and they've actually been running it, and they've blurred out his private areas.
That's nice of them.
Yeah, exactly right. He was a little belligerent when he was at 0.21. He
Who
says
isn't
to the cop,
when they're at 0.21?
He says to the cop on the video, "You insulted me. You're a dead man." Sounds a little like Mel Gibson, you know?
Yeah, a little bit.
So anyway, now you guys were saying, I thought the poor guy, you know, because he had a stroke in 2013, I thought he was sort of toast in terms of public performances, but he's making a comeback.
He came back. In February of this year, he sang "Amazing Grace" at some I think benefit concert or something, a surprise appearance. And despite his stroke 5 or 6 years ago or whatever, right after this incident where he was apparently not doing well overall, he seems to be on the rebound.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's going to be a happy ending.
The happy story of the month.
So now we'll hear that we're in the F block. This is the home of some of our features. One of our other features reaches into the past, sort of a retrospective. Jose, could you cue that up for us?
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Okay. Yeah, nice. There we go. Now, Jose is going to play a soundbite from history. It could be the Middle Ages. It could have been when the Earth was cooling 4 billion years ago. Jose, fire it up.
One other thing I probably should tell you, because if I don't, they'll probably be saying this about me, too. We did get something, a gift, after the election. A man down in Texas heard Pat on the radio mention the fact that our 2 youngsters would like to have a dog.
Oh, boy.
And believe it or not, the day before we left in this
Jose,
campaign
you can
trip,
take that
we got a
down, and we
message
can let
from
our
Union
panel
Station.
here, Dorothy Kilgallen and Bennett Surf.
What the heck does that mean?
Thank you, John Charles Haley. Yeah,
Connor doesn't
Who are
get
these
that
people?
reference.
I know who it is.
I know who it is
So,
too. It's a classic.
Okay, who would it be? Connor? You
So that's
tell?
Richard Nixon, and that's him after he's immersed in scandal for campaign contributions or wrongful camping contributions or something, gifts before an election.
Ken Jeffries, you
It's
remember
known
that?
as the-
You
yeah, it's known
were
as
you
the-
were a small child watching.
I was
on
a small,
TV?
yeah, really.
Yeah.
Good old black and white. It was about and we're going to keep our dog Checkers. So we're gonna
Exactly
keep-
right.
And that Pat wore, by the way, Pat wore a fine Republican cloth coat was the other line from that.
Yes, that is a classic
Checkers.
moment in American history, in
Yeah.
American broadcasting.
Political redemption.
And Eisenhower was letting Nixon twist in the wind. All of Ike's buddies, his bridge-playing buddies.
Nixon looks good now compared to nowadays.
That's exactly right.
yeah.
They seriously wanted to dump Nixon off the ticket.
Can you imagine Trump
as
doing
VP
that?
in '52?
Trump can't pull this
and
off.
this was a thunderclap. He got back on the horse and he became vice president. Hey, folks, that's it for the Royal Oak Show. We'll see you next week.
Which is most appropriate because that was your theme.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio show sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound? Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 6 channels of high-definition radio, you can now hear all of your favorite hosts like you've never heard them before in CRN HD. The difference is amazing. Catch your favorite political hosts like Dennis Prager, Tom Hartman, Barry Farber, and so many more. Entertainment and lifestyle programming like The Robert Conrad Show, The What's Cooking Show, and The What's Cooking on Wine Show